So in this video, I'm going to show you how to remove a water pump. This is a water pump. It's a little dirty, but it's a beautiful looking water pump. In this video, we're going to be pulling off this fan type of roller. I'm going to call it a fan pulley because it does look like a pulley, it's just a different shape. So we have 4 Torx on it. So the type of Torx you're going to need is a T30, and I'm kind of like expanding it, making it bigger. So first, I'm going to attempt to remove it just with my regular like hammer drill. Let's see if this works. As you can see, we don't get anything. Now, if you're gonna be trying to spin it with your like arm and stuff, man, you're gonna be struggling. This thing is this Torx is gonna be slipping off. It's not gonna be fun. So, of course, I do prefer to use this Earthquake XT. And let's see, we're gonna pull that off. All right. Look at that. They're loose right away. And as you could see, it's even trying to rotate my whole pulley. But it really doesn't get a chance to, because it gets them loose right away. Now, the question is, will I be able to pull it off without having to tap on it with my hammer? Seems like not. See, it kind of gets welded on here with that rust. That's what happens. Well, it is loose. But it's so rusted over here where it needs to come out that it just can't. See, that's all it is. It's this piece. Just not allowing it to go anywhere. So now that we've removed this, it is done. So that pulley is done. That's a water pump pulley. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to remove a water pump. This here is a water pump, and it's got a lot of stuff that's holding it. There's lots of bolts, and basically here it's got a metal pipe and a hose that continues. So we're gonna just remove it as a whole assembly. And of course, this is a radiator hose. A lot of people ask me, which hose do you use to drain your radiator? It is this one here. It is actually located right here. This is actually very, very visible now. If I would be underneath the van, and that means this would not be visible. Now this, of course, has been crushed, you know, this clamp, which is fine, but you get the idea. This hose curves, and it's actually right over here, because generally the radiator plug that you need to undo, it's actually located right at the back over here, back of the radiator. But the plastic, they break off sometimes, and they get really stuck. So I usually just reach in here, undo the hose from the top, and then just pull this hose off, and then just radiator fluid just leaks out. So, you know, now that I told you that little story, we're gonna go ahead and actually remove this water pump here. So we have some of these bolts that's holding it. So we have that one, that one, that one. So let's see what they are. It is obviously an E-socket. And the E-socket, let's see, I'm gonna try to test this number 10. So number 10 works. So what I'm gonna do is I'll actually expand my tool just a little bit to make it easier for me to work on. I already have a water pump video, but this video is gonna be much different because I'm actually doing the job and talking to you. Because in another one I did a voiceover without actually seeing a video. So we just remove them one by one. So what we want to do is we don't want to really just start removing on one side. It'll be best to follow this kind of like pattern, to just remove them kind of like, you know, kind of like you would change tires. But for some reason, and this is probably that very reason, this is why they have some bigger ones on here, like this a bigger one, that's a bigger one, that's a bigger one. So you're actually fine. You could go ahead and remove every little one that's on here, because see, you can't really get to that one. That one's on there because you need to actually put it on and remove it kind of like the same way. And this is why they kind of done that. You see there's one right there, one right there. So this one's holding it, that one's holding it, that one's holding it, and that one's holding it. See, but we have removed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, I guess four of them holding it. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So that makes perfect sense. This is why they did it that way. So I'm gonna go ahead. So that's an E10. I do want to make sure, I want to let you know that. And for the other one, it's probably an E12. We've been using this E12 mainly everywhere. So most of the stuff you're gonna find, including transmission bolts and starter bolts, it's usually gonna be like an E12 socket. Some of them E14. I've used that one quite a bit as well, depending on what it is. So we get that one. Now let's get this one, and then we can get one at the bottom. Where's that one at? Oh, we already have that one. Let's see, and we're gonna do this one. As you can see, nothing to it. I just removed it. As you can see, nothing to it. I just removed it. And we have the seal here, which could probably most likely be reused. The ones you would probably get, they're gonna look about the same. But I would just use some RTV lubricant. Now the reason it's rusted a little bit here is because there was some water that was left. And of course it did just a little job. It's actually really not rusted. This is kind of like a stainless steel. But I guess there's some rust inside of the water or something from somewhere. But it's actually a really beautiful piece. It's got a really nice aluminum work over here. And of course you got this pipe that's attached to it. So we do want to make sure we remove this pipe. The way you remove it is you're gonna need your Torx tool. So basically this is a T40. So that's what we're gonna be using. And we're gonna go ahead and actually remove this hose. So if you're replacing your water pump, chances are that's what you're gonna need to do, because you want this hose does not get sold with your water pump. And then of course you have this one. You could just a flathead, just remove it with that. I normally just put like a number 10 on there and remove it, or number 7, whichever way. But most of us, we don't have, you know, all these nice tools. So maybe you just have a screwdriver, you could just remove the hose, and there you go. So it's actually removed. So don't get confused when you're actually installing it. This is the way it needs to be. You got the, you know, mounting bracket right here. So it's gonna be like somewhere over here. This mounting bracket is gonna be mounting to your alternator. So everything's gonna be like nicely holding. So this is now removed, and let's observe the water pump for the last time. This is the water pump. It's a little dirty, but it's a beautiful looking water pump. It's It's not leaking. It's perfectly fine. If somebody wants to buy it, let me know. Well, this is the end of this video. My name is Serge Zimaleta. I'm 37 years old, and yes, I experienced success after buying my first home for cash. Back in 2011, I was broke, but I learned to solve problems on my own. Now, I'm helping others to solve their problems. I know what pitfalls to avoid to stay profitable in business. Need motivation to be more successful in your life? Do you have Sprinter expedite or business problems? Then subscribe. Let's find creative solutions to your problems. Hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of my helpful videos.